We are joined now by Congresswoman Marjorie.
There is a
Hold on, there I am. Hey, look, it works. Oh, this Florida frizziness. I had to hold on, and music. I had issues. On my way home from rehearsal, I realized that I had not gotten another power strip, and I was out of outlets, which is a terrible thing to, in our current circumstance to be in. I'm going to be speaking in vaguely Elizabethan English for the next 2 weeks, aren't I? I just have this feeling. I actually used the word befit in normal conversation, and I'm like, this is taking over, as if my vocabulary had any, true gaps in it, and then to have this kind of sneak up on me, as it were. My hair is messed, but in a good way, in a kind of, it's just, it's more product. Otherwise it's a kafoof. I know. But also, you guys, the truth is, you guys are used to seeing my hair with the green screen backdrop and a gray background, so you don't really get the full picture because it's not often framed by light colors and gray, so you don't see the full majesty. I'm wearing like a gray shirt most of the time, so you don't even see how far it goes. Like, I'm even wearing a blue shirt today, and it's still got this kind of, I'm just saying. All right, so, oh, happy birthday, Sally. Yay. Be fit as fuck. That's true. That is true. So, yeah, thank you, Diana. I think I'll get my regular green screen. I sound nasally today. I think it's the British stuff. I'm not at all. I'm not currently running into any issues in terms of that. Time for a flat iron? It very well may be, but I did not pack one, so that will require yet another in a series of trips to Target, I suppose, while I'm here. Probably the pollen. I don't know necessarily. It also might be this microphone. It is a different sounding thing, but I don't feel particularly nasally, as it were. But so I'll get this hooked up. I've got the green screen. I got stuff. I didn't want to put tacks in the ceiling of the Airbnb that I'm staying at because that's rude. Leave it to me to be worried about, leaving 8 tack holes in the ceiling that no one will ever notice but me. But I just wouldn't be right. So I went and got some of those like removable hooks that you can stick on, and then you pull them off, and then together. So I believe that will work, but I'm going to have to. That's going to be a minor project by myself, maybe on this bed with no. I'll be standing like, okay, you want to see what I'm sitting on? Because I don't have a chair here. I have like a piano bench. So it's going to be me standing on a piano bench trying to like stick little stickum hooks that will hopefully hold. Good God. It's just, I will film it. I may eat shit. It will be fun to watch. Yeah, those farkin' tack holes. So hopefully today we'll have our first semblance of what would be a sort of semi-normal show-ish. I mean, obviously, I have to be done. I got a hard out at 6 o'clock so that I can race over to rehearsals again. I had rehearsals this morning for 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And then came home and worked on more lines and notes because we blocked it. So I have to go through and memorize based on where I am. He's great, Amy. Thank you. And by the way, tomorrow, let's see. Yeah, tomorrow it'll actually work out because I'll be doing the show before my family FaceTime, and I'll still have to have the hard out at 6. And yeah, so we'll figure out tomorrow as we go. But I will keep doing I'll do my best this week, especially to just kind of like post on Twitter when I'm going to go live. So share it and let people know, and that would be great. And is my show ever normal? Ouch. Frank has taken a big giant crap. Let me see if I can bring up Frank. Okay, because they don't trust anybody over at Frank's Beach. Here we go. So, oops, I have to redo this. Hold on one second. Where would it be? Where would it be, Yes, I have to rearrange. Okay, that's not where it is. Here where it is. There we go. All right. No, that's not going to do it. Okay, hold on one second. Cancel. I have to add, how do I do this? Display capture, that'll do it. Let's see. Okay. Whoa, that's fun. She's going to keep. I can't. All right. 1, 2, 3. And then display 1. There we go. And then I will crop it as I see fit in 1 second. Beg your pardon, guys. I didn't get to fix this nonsense beforehand. Let's see. Put it here. Put it here. There we go. So this is, and then we move it to all right. And then we drag it out, and it should be all right. There we go. All right, not bad. Fix this stuff. Not too much of a run back. So this is, thank you for visiting Frank. With over 2 billion requests in just 2 days. Either that or Apartment 2B has been trying to get on for 2 days. That's almost 1 billion a day. The Frank Speech experiment is a massive success. For you. Right now, we're working on new features. Keep checking back. We'll be up shortly. Oh, will we now? Like, and it's got nonstop. Is this?
Okay, keep going. Down here, Maricopa County electronic adjudicated ballots, 103,000 votes loaded before opening of polls. So the votes were even loaded. They were already in there before the polls even opened. 50.
Again, he's just playing. I think this is just a rerun of absolute assholery. I forget which one it is. At this, they all start with absolute nonsense. So it's hard to keep track in many ways of which is which.
Other states, what went on there. So it's all grouped together. 615,000 votes that are just in question. And we're gonna.
Oh God! Shut up, man. So this is the whole thing. This is now. One would normally, if one has spent, according to Mike Lindell, this took him 4 years. That he's been working on this for 4 years. That this is the splash page. Can I just, point of order if I may. I know this is, I guess it's considered bad form, but we'll find out. If I may, let me just go back over here. What's a good example of a solid, website? Mm-hmm. There we go. Like this situation here. This is good an example as any, I would suppose. this would be my webpage. This took me all of what, 45 minutes? I don't know. It was like all this stuff. I mean, here you go. There's some great pictures from lab rats left over there. I put those in there. I gotta update this stuff. There you go. NoobTube, which takes you to the Twitch channel. Infotainment Wars. Look at that. By the way, I moved this, so I haven't done it in a while. But this is, I mean, my site is better than the Frank site. I'm just saying, just aesthetically. I mean, the dude's a millionaire. Again, I know I'm an inverted snob about production value, but what in the holy hell are you doing with your money? He's hosting himself, John Actor. That's allegedly, according to these folks. And I suppose, let's see, view source. Here you go. Here's this is the entirety. In case you guys want to look at his entire stack path. There you go. There's a home screen. Where is it? Okay. G static center cast standard. Okay. There's there. What? Cloud resources. Skin style sheet. Oh God. CDNFrenchSpeech.com resource videos. Okay. This is their his own servers. He's got using Cloudflare, I guess. Destroy player object after complete. This is the whole page, by the way. This is it. This is the entirety. This is, I mean, like if you took like a mild class on coding, you could whip this shit out in an afternoon. Apple Touch icon iPhone PNG. Son of a bitch. Did he? Oh, God. What a creep. That's going to be their icon for when you get the app for Frank's speech. It's a Q with an F in the middle of it, which is good because Q can go F itself. Let's see what's in here. Bootstrap, copyright Bootstrap authors. Copyright Twitter Incorporated, license under MIT, GitHub. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This is the font size and all that kind of stuff. The baseline stuff for just the text. This is all here. This is what text looks like. Box, custom select, custom, yeah. This is all just borrowed. This is all just the code from View. Yeah, View. Let's see. Yeah. What a doof. Google, no, Frank VIP sign up. Title. This is, I mean, it's pitiful. This is pitiful. What's this business? Oh, this is yeah. So they're using basically the same Twitter sign up code that everybody else uses. Here's some Shaka. But the actual page, for all practical purposes, is just this. Just using other people's stuff. Target blank. HTML of it. This is the video. Oh, okay. Just in case it craps out. All right. So that they give you a 404. Chromecast. They're using Chrome. Yeah, so I guess that whole Alphabet and Google are evil crap is nonsense. This is what we've evolved into. Yeah, looking at code on the web. So anyways, this is what this looks like when you look behind it. And you're not pouring a bunch of money into this. Report back shortly. This is the whole, there's not even anything, you can't even there's nothing to click on except the video. Like you can't, all the sign up stuff has been made invisible. This had sign up stuff on it. It's gone. Frank. So I wanted to educate you guys right out of the gate because I figured there's a lot. Let me drag this out a little bit because I'm sure you're going to want to see more of this tomato. Look at that look at that vine ripened tomato. Ladies and gentlemen, This is Glenn Beck, for those of you that don't know. And do not hate on Colonel Sanders in my presence just because of this man's choice of location and facial hair. His sunburn seems to have diminished a tad. But the name of this video is 10 politically correct words you must stop using now. Stop it. Stop being politically correct. Stop saying women's with a Y. Stop pronouncing man with air quotes. Stop it. And of course, those are Geronimo's balls. He has a replica. Those are actual size. I don't know what I don't know what this decor is. It's It's New Mexico culturally appropriated demo kitchen. I guess that is it. Oh, my volume's low. Is my volume low? Am I low? Am I low? Is that better? Am I better? Hold on. I'm going to have to find a way to bring this closer to my face. Yes, there's a bit of acoustics in here, but I will do what I... Yes, he is overripe. So shall we?
Information.
Hold on, go away. I have to do this.
There is a great story that I
can tell. I'm already excited.
Collecting documentation.
Why is that happening?
In fact, they collected.
Oh, that's weird. Why is it jumping around?
that I read today from the Federalist.
Oh, great. The Federalist, guys. Oh, new patron. Thank you so much.
10 politically correct but false words.
Oh, well, you didn't say that. You just said 10 politically correct words. I just assumed because they were politically correct that they were all false.
You need to stop using right now.
Okay, so you're just basically... Oh, this is Glenn Beck at his most Trumpian, and apparently his just crib your notes from the Federalist. Okay. Well, okay, you can't make me wait that long for. Are we counting down from 10 to 1?
They are changing our language, and
boy.
they are policing it,
No.
and it will become an app.
No.
It's only a matter of time.
Hold on, I don't know why that squoze down.
The New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, CBS, MSNBC, the first word that we need to stop using, the first two words are mainstream media.
Uh-oh.
What that means is that...
Yes, tell me what are we supposed to use lamestream media? Is that now the proper vernacular, Mr. Tomato Head? We will no longer say Mr. Potato Head. It will be Madam Potato.
They reflect mainstream America.
Yeah, they kind of do, though. I mean, also, perhaps as a blanket term, don't include Fox, as mainstream media. I would consider them sort of right-wing fringe media that dabbles at being liked. But are we talking about Netflix?
And I don't believe they do. They may be coastal media.
Yes, only the CNN and MSNBC and NBC and ABC and CBS and I guess local news and stuff. Those are all just coastal wannabes.
They may express the views of those in California and New York.
Does anybody?
But they do not represent mainstream America.
Why? How so? I mean, because clearly if you look at how Biden's infrastructure plans are polling, how the rescue package is polling, how the general public felt about the George Floyd and the killing and the Chauvin trial that followed.
Big media.
Oh, thank you so much, Susan.
Is what we should. Corporate media is what.
So basically, this is your own 1984ing. This is what we don't call them mainstream media. We want to reframe that using our words to externalize them, even though they are, by all measures, mainstream. We want to call them corporate or big media. The problem is Republicans have always clamored to be both big and corporate, so I'm not quite sure why they think this will help.
But we should call them.
Great, thanks. As opposed to cowboy media? Come on, Glenn. Why is your shirt buttoned all the way to the top with no tie? At least wear a bolo. It will match your blanket outfit. Has he given up Mormonism and just is he trying to join the Navajo Nation? This is just him sucking up?
60 Minutes.
Yeah. Show's really 48 minutes if you don't count commercials. This is bullshit.
Invented a scandal about Ron DeSantis.
Oh, did they?
They edited video for an interview. They haven't really.
Wait a minute. 60 Minutes edits their interviews? Wait a minute. All the interviews they conduct don't fit magically inside 60 Minutes?
Really covered Andrew Cuomo's cover-up of the COVID-19 nursing home.
The nursing homes? Yes, it's very. They did not cover it adequately, according to us.
Russiagate. Notice that we spent how many years? 4 years on Russiagate?
And it all just, we all recognized it as true. Konstantin Kalimnik was actually acting as a courier on behalf of Paul Manafort for Donald Trump to the Russian GRU and back. I don't know why this dipshit is trying to look surprised.
Now nobody seems to be interested in Russiagate. Why?
Because it's not Russiagate. It never was. You guys call it Russiagate because you think the media side of it was a lie.
Why? Because it's been proven to be inaccurate, and they won't even.
No, it isn't. It's actually proving to be more accurate now that Trump and his DOJ heads are out of office so that the truth can come out. Jesus.
Even admit that now.
Why would they? Why would you admit a falsehood, especially if you're mainstream media? I thought admitting falsehoods was literally the job of right-wing fringe media, and I only call you fringe media, Glenn, not because you've got some sort of cool outsider thing, but literally that jacket should have fringe.
Now, the cover-up of Hunter Biden, the laptop story.
Dun, dun, dun! What cover-up? What cover-up?
That's not mainstream. None of these things are mainstream. Stop calling them mainstream media.
It's the mainstream media. They're largely mainstream. I mean, they have the most viewers. People go back to them again and again. Mainstream is not a codification. It doesn't mean always right, I would argue. I mean, it's one of the reasons why they actually have to correct themselves when they are wrong, whereas you can just kind of blow along and and make it up, and just go, I don't know, I wasn't wrong. That was something else.
Media. It's the corporate media or big media.
Okay, good. All right, so everybody got your checklist? Wonderful. Okay, so according to Glenn and the Federalist, which gave him the list, okay, now we call it big media. And you have to make some sort of fist in the air when you do that, or call them corporate media and do that.
The next word
Oh, okay, I thought there was more.
we have to stop using is gender.
Uh-oh. We have to stop using gender. Is gender a politically correct word? We have to start saying sex, don't we? Are we going to start saying sex? Say sex. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to.
What we mean is sex.
There you go. Ding! I got it. All right. It's almost as if either they're incredibly predictable and narrow-minded, or I'm just smart. Which both they're not. I'm just saying both could be true.
Words have gender, but people are one sex or another, male or female. That refers to sex.
Please don't refer to sex. Seriously, you're making the entire male population turtle, and you're drying eggs everywhere in the female of the species. Please, Glenn Beck, never say the word sex, because there has been no greater attack on the word sex than it being uttered by you.
Sex is a biological category that reflects a person's physical characteristics and reproductive systems and manifests in certain broad behavioral differences that distinguish men and women.
Well, that's why they started using transgender as opposed to transsexual. Because while you can cosmetically change the genitals, you can't insert a uterus in someone or provide them with working testicles. So transsexual isn't actually accurate. Transgender is. Now, there are trans people who prefer to be called transsexual because they are making a full transition. And there are transgender people who prefer that phrase for themselves. That's kind of up to them. I kind of don't give a shit. It really is about how they, want to present themselves in public and one's own courtesy, not political correctness, but just kind of, being a genuine human in that regard with someone who's in effectively an inborn form of physical distress because they were, like my analogy about being, born without a limb or ears or something, and then finding out later through prosthesis or other things you can live a normal and full life, and it's not your fault that you were born that way. You just kind of transition into what's a better expression of who you truly are. And if you were born deaf, and then they found a way that through bone conduction they could actually make you hear again, you wouldn't just be forced to identify as deaf beyond the point that you can actually hear. Like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't come in here. This is a concert. We only allow people who can hear. Yes, it's a blue velvet jacket. I do not know when he's going to pull out a ventilator thing and say, "Mommy."
My son was having a hard time arguing with his friends, and I didn't know how to help him
because I didn't know whether they were boys or whether they're girls. So how you argue with a boy is you just punch him in the Jimmy Jims and just move on. And if you're arguing with a girl, you just whop her upside the face and go, "Get in your room."
until I contacted Dr.
Gender and sex are not a spectrum. Sex is an actual, mutable. It's an immutable characteristic. Gender is fluid and flexible in terms of its descriptive. One is representative of the reality of the circumstance. One is representative of the expression of the circumstance. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. And again, the irony is that the fight over labels has become so strong that this is them pushing back against it.
Deborah So and said, "Okay, how do you win this argument?"
Well, I mean, why would he come to you to win an argument?
You stop using the word gender. It's sex. Part of this is biological. Gender is how you feel. Well, you can feel anything you want.
That is a weird conversation to have with your son and his friends. Boys, you can feel anything you want. Just do it in the shed. I don't want to see it.
But the facts are...
How old is his son that Glenn has to go ask someone a question for his son? He didn't have to go ask him. The Federalist Society said, "Hi, are you a right-winger? Do you have a son? He might have some questions. Please use this checklist to explain life to him."
You're male or female. That leads to the next series of words that we need to stop using.
Okay, so there's subsets. So basically, this is not about gender or sex. Don't get confused. This is about their fixation on gender and sex and why, God, they're trying to fight. I don't even know. How am I supposed to fly to Thailand now?
Sex reassignment surgery. Sex is not assigned.
They don't call it sex reassignment surgery. They call it gender confirmation surgery a lot of times now. So, done. You're welcome.
It's not assigned at birth. It's not assigned during a surgery. It's not assigned. It can't be reassigned if it's never been assigned.
It's kind of like, can you imagine if George Carlin never actually wanted to be funny?
Surgicals or procedures that remove...
The reason, by the way, your driver's license says gender instead of sex on it is because of the objections of the word sex being on the document. Not because it's not more descriptive of the reality. That's true. Like right-wingers and like pearl clutchers all over the country are like, why is sex written on my... Oh! What are you going to do, list my virginity next?
Or conceal the outward appearance of a woman or man's reproductive organs should be called what we've always called them in the past, genital mutilation or amputation.
Yeah, but you're not mutilating it. you're reforming it in the same way that if you wore a prosthesis, you wouldn't go, nice fake hand, dickhead. Like, what? Ew. Look how mad he is about it, too. And by the way, just so you know, I take very seriously the importance of the topics that he's dabbling with, and I take very seriously the people, and I believe they should be honored with as much dignity as they deserve as a human being, one-to-one. But in my mocking of, don't confuse my mocking of him with my mocking of the overall themes. I refuse to take this asshole seriously about any of this shit. So I'm not going to play in his ballpark going, oh my God, did you hear what Glenn Beck said? Seriously?
This one I am so sick of.
Oh boy, this gotta hit it. What is it? When people call you a McNugget?
It is so important.
Oh God, this is biggie. Everybody?
It is so important.
Isn't it? Is it so important though?
And I used to mock these people, and I go, I know. But I want you to listen to what the Federalist wrote about this now.
Yeah, guys, listen to the Federalist. By the way, we're 4 minutes in, we've got 3 words. Is he just going to jam the last 7?
Next one. Stop using the word democracy.
Get there. I mean, honestly, why even move forward? Well, of course, stop that disgusting, filthy, politically correct word, democracy. By the way, this is the Federalist Society. They believe that we're a Federalist Republic or some shit, and we're not really a democracy, and democracy's a bunch of crap. So they're obviously going to believe that. But holy shit, I'm sick of this. And I used to go, I know. I used to play footsie with democracy, but we're not a holy shit.
It's a republic.
We're a democratic republic, and we're a democratic republic because you do have one person, one vote. We are a democracy. This is a bunch of word hash bullshit, but it is the root, by the way, of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And the Republican Party is and forever shall be the Federalist Party because they believe that the Electoral College is how we choose our rulers and our leaders and not individual votes. And you don't vote for president, you vote for an elector to go tell him. And if the elector knows better than you, then suck it up, Buttercup.
And they go into what Plato wrote about. And
I think they have more understanding of actual Play-Doh than Plato.
I completely forgot about this. When's the last time you read
Play-Doh?
Plato.
All right. I don't know. I read the ingredients. I was like, really? Salt, flour? That's basically it.
The Republic. I need to reread it because listen to the way Plato in the Republic lists democracy.
Uh-huh. Let me guess. It's a mistake.
He says democracy is the social structure directly followed by tyranny.
Yeah. Well, they had a different attitude towards the unwashed masses back then. Like they didn't have public schools, for example.
Democracy, according to Plato, comes into being when the poor, winning the victory, put to death some of the other party, drive out others, and grant the rest of the citizens an equal share in both citizenship and offices. That is the constitution of democracy alike, whether it is established by force of arms or by terrorism.
Obviously, what more can you say about the Founding Fathers? That they were a bunch of, in terms of how the king felt about them, bunch of terrorists, I guess.
We have a constitutional republic. The highest law of the land is the U.S. Constitution, to which all public servants are or should be held accountable. The American system is a federal republic, meaning the power is divided between the federal, state, and local governments, all of whom serve as the guarantors of the people's sovereignty and rights. We are the king. We are the king.
Uh-huh. And that's the picture. That's what Glenn Beck wants, is that basically we, the landowners, we, the people with the intrinsic power, can keep the poor and the rabble from having a voice. And we stand between, because we get through our dollars to fund the politicians we want, that we can keep the people we want in power and keep the poor from, through, I guess, the terrorism of voting, from destroying the republic. Seriously.
They are there to protect us
From poor people.
and our rights.
From poor people. And by the way, rights themselves are intrinsically a part of democracy. Heretofore, there were no rights.
Not the other way around.
I honest to God, I wanted to understand what the shit he's talking about, but I mean,
I want you to read this article because I think
because you don't have time to finish the rest of it in this 6-minute and 58-second segment. You only got through 3 goddamn words.
it is really
Dumb.
well thought out.
As much as they can over the Federalist Society.
And if we're going to be in the fight, there are things that we do have to do.
Yeah, one thing we have to do is apparently fight democracy. By the way, just in case you're concerned at all, Glenn Beck and his ilk will fail. They are a waste of space and time, and this is a bunch of flailing bullshit. And can you imagine the Republicans of the, that were fighting the communists and the, and the Soviet Union and the Cold War and the Nazis have, 30 years later and plus are now like, democracy is the problem. Holy hell.
And being accurate with our language. Look at,
Dude, I don't know why, but he looks like someone washed all the I don't know what it's made of. I was going to all the skin off of a chicken nugget.
how much they are bullying people for language.
They're bullying people for language. And so our revenge is screw democracy.
It clearly is important.
Is it? Because apparently you feel like you want to flush a word that we use to describe our system of government down the toilet.
So why aren't we fighting back on?
Because you are mentally, spiritually, and morally inequipped to fight any battle of that import? Just a theory.
That.
Why is he staring at me like that?
We lose if we say gender when we actually mean sex.
I don't know. Do you barge in on your wife and go, honey, I think the kids are having gender?
We lose when we say sexual reassignment surgery.
Nobody says sexual reassignment surgery anymore. Seriously, was this written in 1994?
Instead of mutilation or amputation.
I don't know. Are you circumcised? If you are, fuck off.
We lose when...
I don't want to know if Glenn Beck is circumcised. As a circumcised individual who was filleted without representation, I would consider that genital mutilation. I am not for it, and it should end. But they don't give a shit about that. That's normal. That's natural. That's just what you do. It has nothing to do with the wants or needs of the expression of the child or their existence on the planet. It's just like, meh. A little off the end. Can we just...
And we say democracy because that's what the left is using, and they know what the...
Yeah, we use the Plato definition. We'll get them to say democracy when really it's just tyranny by terrorism.
Result of a true democracy is. The average person doesn't.
No, why would they? They live in a true democracy.
But they do. This article.
I wanna gender you up. Let's talk about gender, baby.
Again, you can find at the Federalist top.
Look at these other videos from him. We are becoming China. Fair trial impossible? Yikes.
10 politically correct but factually false words to stop using right now.
Yeah, it's a great article. I mean, thanks. So did they pay you for the segment? Or they went, we have too many readers. How can we drive down readership? I got a good idea. How about we pay Glenn Beck to talk about one of our articles? Yipes. Blaze. Named after, I guess, him lighting his farts. Christ almighty. These guys. Oh, I'm going to lose which computer. Okay. So, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene is on Newsmax talking about Maxine Nancy and the BLM army. Yeah, that's right. The Black Lives Matter activist army that's going to, that even though the general public thinks that Black Lives Matter is an argument for the worth of black lives, that's not really what it's about. It goes into this democracy is a politically correct word that's used by leftists to try and install terrorism, tyranny by terrorism. But the BLM army must be fought. Which is, I mean, if you don't know what the BLM army is, you have to watch. Obviously we saw the seeds of it in early Janet Jackson videos.
Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, she's introduced a resolution in the House.
Yipes. Do we need to do that?
To expel Congresswoman Maxine Waters for comments that Waters made asking protesters and rioters to get confrontational if a guilty verdict in the Floyd trial.
By the way, cool. Will you and Lauren Boebert both be expelled at the same time, and can you hold the door for her as you all three leave? How about that? I would totally bounce the two of you so that Maxine Waters could retire.
Trial was not reached. Congresswoman, thank you so much for the time.
She's got plenty. She's not on any committees. She doesn't have any. She's not writing any bills. The Cracker Caucus fell apart.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
Why are they censoring MTG? Right.
Sure, yeah. So before we get to that, President Biden and Maxine Waters are two of the biggest names who have weighed in on this trial, indicating that they wanted a guilty verdict, which is...
Along with the vast majority of Americans and nearly every Fox News host. I can't speak for Tucker, but I think for the last year, they've all been giving themselves I'm not racist points by going, well, at least I saw what was wrong with the George Floyd situation. I mean, we are all horrified at that. Everybody else, but, you can tell I'm not,
It's completely inappropriate, and they got it. And do you think there's any way...
They got it. They got it. That's interesting. They got it. So I'm supposed to take away that Rob Schmidt here does not feel that verdict is for his team. That they got it, he did not. That Marjorie Taylor Greene did not get the verdict they wanted in the Chauvin trial. Is there another takeaway? I don't think so.
My first question, do you think there's any way the jury was not impacted by comments from Democrats and also by intimidation of violence from these left-wing groups like BLM and Antifa?
Well, I mean, obviously the first one would be, did you personally believe that Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd? What were your feelings when you watched the video? Do they vary from what the rest of the people we are accusing of manipulating the trial, or is this just common sense, which we're always patting ourselves on the back for?
Absolutely not. I think the jury was intimidated. You had a United States Congresswoman come to Minnesota and basically threaten there would be more confrontation.
I'm sorry. January 6th insurrectionist leader says what?
If the jury did not deliver the verdict she wanted, which was guilty, that is intimidation. And after the riots we've seen for the past year, burning cities, looting businesses, attacking and even killing.
Why is Newsmax showing video of someone giving the finger? This is right awful. And by the way, When is Antifa going to know to cover their faces entirely? It's almost as if these are people who just genuinely felt that something wrong had happened and were there.
Innocent people like David Dorn attacking police officers, federal monuments and buildings. There's no way a jury would be able to deliver any verdict other than guilty after all of this intimidation.
Sorry, have there not, since the Rodney King trial, have there not, is this just like we live in the OJ world where black people are just not convicted anymore, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, simply because everybody's afraid of the Rodney King riots? Is that where we're going?
Maxine Waters.
Yeah, and Trump was basically directing the legal system to rule his way all the time.
Stood there and said, stay in the streets, get more confrontational. That was a direct threat. And also she was delivering, basically telling the BLM army.
The BLM army. And by the way, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say if there is a BLM army, the band probably kicks ass, especially in Minnesota. I'm just saying there have to be members of the revolution just hanging around.
This is what you're going to do and make sure that this guilty verdict happens.
I totally
agree. Poor Derek Chauvin. Are you guys going to kick in for his appeal?
I agree. We watched it happen. This has been an unbelievable moment with...
Unbelievable. Actually, it's been completely fucking believable. How many times do you have to watch that before you were like, what the hell is that guy doing? Because we all watched, the first time you saw it was 9 minutes. And this is not one of those videos where they show the moment of the altercation starts and then something awful happens. You're like, oh my God, I'm so horrified. And then you find out they show you the 20 minutes leading up to it and you're like, oh, this was bullshit. I'm being manipulated. This isn't one of those situations. Like all fucking 9 minutes. There's all the other footage. Him being arrested, him sitting down, them putting him in the car, them taking him out, them kneeling on him for 9 minutes. Him dying 6 minutes into that, the EMT showing up and going, this guy's dead. How many times? I mean, they played it over and over and over in the trial. Everybody saw it. It was all over social media. Like, you couldn't not see it. And apparently, no pun intended, they did not see what you and I saw. And these two, apparently, have been able to watch this as much as anybody else, but are just baffled that anyone would, under normal circumstances, go, no, yeah, that's fucked up.
With this case and with this trial.
They did not see what I saw, right?
And I think there's definitely room for an appeal here.
Oh, is there? There's room for appeal. Based on Maxine Waters' statements. I mean, they are adorable, these little ones, you know. They get the tightened shirts on, the nice little epaulets and this kind of thing, and they walk through the streets in the little knickers and the pulled up stockings and the tight little shoes, and they're wearing the little caps, and they're just so adorable, these ones, you know.
I want to get your reaction to comments that were made by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi earlier today, right after the verdict.
Right after. You know, I hate when people intimidate me after something is Nazi an actual game? Nazi! And it's got a little dice dome. I got 3 6s again. This sucks.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice. Because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice.
So thank
you. Yeah. See, she's Catholic, and the essence of religious people, and I understand how the Republicans might be confused about this. They may not know sort of the essence of Christianity or any of the great religions, that there is a purpose to one's life, and that through God's grace and the theory of the Catholic Church and the Christian Church, that you can find the purpose of a person's life in their death as well, and that they live on. And that their spirit, although their body has died, their spirit lives, and you can speak to them through prayer or exaltation, and you can say to them, you gave your life so that the rest of us could recognize that something was wrong. Something was wrong with us. You taught us this lesson through your sacrifice. But since these people, I guess assuming, I don't know either one of them personally, but it seems from their speech that they do not recognize a higher power or a life beyond this one or a common deity or anything regarding, I don't know, that Judeo-Christian stuff that I've heard some people refer to, that this man and this woman don't believe in that, think it's a bunch of bullshit. And as Darwinists, they're like, there is no worth to his life or his death, you know.
Thank you, George, for dying. I thought that was very bizarre. A lot of people on Twitter are noticing. It's starting to go around. It's just one of the weirder things we heard today.
But, you know, now that you've brought on Marjorie Taylor Greene, you can kind of top that.
What's your reaction?
I think I find it appalling and disgusting. I just watched a white woman thank a black man for dying so that they can achieve the policies they want.
Policies. Oh, it's a policy. Guys, racial justice is a policy. That's great. I hope when they're pushing their policy, we all get racial justice keychains and we I don't know, is there a racial justice tax they're going to put forward?
Just defund the police. I find that extremely disturbing. Very disturbing. We think our military.
Okay, that tears it. Hal's Twitter page, definitely not offensive. Bullshit is happening. What?
Men and women for their service to our country, for defending our freedoms. But this man died. He in no.
Oh, thanks. Yay.
Way went out there to die so that Democrats.
Yeah, that's not. They didn't go out there to die. That's not the point. I mean, obviously, we're watching someone try to hammer a square peg into a round hole. So let's watch this.
Democrats, BLM, Antifa, Maxine Waters, and anyone else could have their way with the attacks on the police and the defund the police.
So they could have their way. So basically, you have to grasp this, and this is very difficult, but these two assholes think that Derek Chauvin's guilty plea is not the result of his actions and the crimes he obviously committed. And you know how they're always throwing around common sense, and for some reason that just goes out the window? 9 fucking minutes, right? These two are saying that Derek Chauvin's guilty plea is not reflective of what he actually deserves as far as punishment, but it's part of the Democrats' attacks on police and defunding the police. I mean, I know we're hearing them say this, but you have to understand, this is the perspective that not just her. I mean, we know she's a lunatic. She's a straight up Q. But this asshole, Rob Schmidt Tonight is the name of his show. I mean, he's probably like this every day. They wake up and walk through the world looking through these eyes. They believe this, and it informs what they see. I don't think I can't do it, and I would be astounded if anybody watching this can even fathom what it's like to walk through life genuinely seeing through that. I mean, no one can see through another person's eyes fully, but we can kind of generally understand that we all know what the color green is, for example, or we all know what up means in terms of sky and ground, those kind of baselines. But these folks are forever in dark water, and without the brains to blow bubbles and follow them to the surface. I'm honest to God. Think about this. Can you imagine looking at the Chauvin verdict and seeing an attack on police from Antifa?
Police movement. I'm not sure what Nancy Pelosi was trying to do there, but I find it pretty appalling and disturbing.
Satanic panic is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it was a very bizarre statement. And again, a lot of these people making a lot of noise over this don't seem to care when countless African-American young guys are killed every weekend in major cities all across this country.
Sure they do. We're trying to deal with it with gun dumping, trying to deal with it in terms of stopping the school to prison pipeline, racial disparities so that people can have opportunities where they don't get sucked into like gangs or surrounded by gangs where they end up dying in drive-bys and the like. There's 5 solutions to that problem. But police are paid for with our tax dollars. We have more of a say in their lives than we do in the free movement of individuals who may commit crimes. This is the same bullshit they do with schools. Like, we're like, can we pay teachers? Can we make sure the schools are good? Can we make sure there's no lead in the water or in the paint? Can we provide enough materials for the children so that every school kid, no matter where they live, has access to the same books and materials and musical instruments and that kind of shit so that they actually have an equal education? And these assholes go, what about parental involvement? Like, well, asshole, I can't make someone be a good parent. But I can make sure that when the kid shows up at school, he's got access to the same meals, the same nutritional quality as a baseline at least that they may not get at home. This is, God.
But this case they certainly paid attention to. You did actually introduce a resolution to expel Maxine Waters. It reads in part, what's more confrontational than burning cities for almost a year? This is nothing new from...
Well, I mean, attacking the Capitol. Because they weren't burning cities. They didn't burn cities. We have not lost a city. We haven't. We lost a couple of targets along the way and some businesses. And, Portland's adorable. But I would argue that attacking actual, and here's, I'm sorry, Glenn, I have to use this word, the seat of our democracy might be, because, you could burn Portland to the ground and it still wouldn't wipe out the United States. But if you manage to sneak some bombs in or kill everybody in the Capitol, you might actually scuttle our system of government entirely.
From Maxine Waters, she has been inciting violence and terrorism for the last 29 years in regards to those comments.
Well, just because you're afraid of a black lady doesn't mean she's inciting violence and terrorism. Just because you're like, oh God. Thank you, Aggie. Anglo-Saxons are marrying their cousin through generations. Well, enough about the royal family.
She made. Now, most of the time, you put a resolution up like this. A lot of the times, it's just theater. It doesn't really go anywhere. What do you actually expect to happen on this one?
It's just theater. It's not going to go anywhere.
Well, you have to remember, I'm the most attacked Congresswoman probably in history.
No, you are not. She is not the most attacked Congresswoman in history. She is, I'm guessing, I'm probably going to go with the most attacked Congresswoman in history would probably be the first ever Congresswoman, considering. But what she is the most, the currently most criticized, she and probably Lauren Boebert, jockey for these positions, the most criticized. She's not attacked. She hasn't been attacked. She says something and people respond to it. That's not an attack.
I've been kicked off of my committees. The Democrats introduced a resolution.
Why'd you get kicked off your committees? Why'd that happen? Really? Guys, did you know that you've been kicked off your committee? What did you do to get kicked off your committees? Huh? What was it?
To expel me, yet the Democrats can't file one single ethics charge against me because I've done nothing wrong. They just...
We don't have any ethics. And you haven't done anything at all. You just talk. So an ethics charge would be like, well, we found out you were misspending campaign funds or stuff like that. You're just being awful.
Attack me because they don't like me and they don't like the fact that I won't back down.
No, those aren't the reasons at all. I think that you're fomenting anti-vaxxer theories and QAnon conspiracies and basically saying that that if you get the vaccine, you have the mark of the beast. That kind of shit. It has nothing to do with whether we like you. I'm sure you're a hell of you're a party at karaoke night.
I'm also part of the 117th Congress that voted to impeach President Trump after he said to march peacefully to the Capitol.
Yeah, and then once you get down there, if they're not doing what you want, you're going to have to show them. Yeah, the peaceful part was the march. Peacefully and patriotically march down there, but that's not how we're going to act when we get there, is the underlying message because of all the other shit he said. But let's pretend.
So I introduced this resolution to Maxine
The Peaceful and Patriotic Marching Bill of 2021.
Waters because she is a danger to our society. She took
She's a danger to our society.
to the streets in a state she doesn't even live in. She gave the orders to the BLM domestic terrorist army.
She gave the orders to the BLM terrorist army. And apparently she's not much of a general because they didn't do it.
Told them to get more
Hey, Roger.
confrontational, which we can't comprehend what more confrontational even means.
Well, sure, because those people, they're activists, not rioters. So, you know, it lines up with more vigilance, I suppose.
So I introduced this resolution to expel her because I believe things need to be done differently in Congress. I believe people need to be held accountable. And
Did she say fight a bunch of times? I forget.
I believe if a Congress can vote to impeach President Trump, then they certainly should be able to vote to impeach or to expel Maxine Waters.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if anything, it's because she put her thumb on the scale in the Chauvin trial, and that's really just so that they can get this kind of left-wing, radical, democratic, anti-cop thing through.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy introduced a resolution to censure Waters. Again, this was mostly theater. It was defeated along.
Mostly theater. So if the House Minority Leader was unable to even get a censure passed, you individually expelling it, I see.
Party lines this afternoon. Why are Waters' comments okay, do you think, with Democrats? But like you just said, Trump asking a crowd to peacefully and patriotically march to the Capitol is considered inciting an insurrection.
Yeah, but march down there, and then if they don't do what you want, stop the steal. Stop it. Actually go up and stop it, which they did. Because they didn't riot on their way. They didn't pull any trees out. They didn't, as far as I know, they didn't shit in the water features. They didn't, turn over any cop cars. They peacefully and patriotically marched down there. Once they got there, however.
Yet they're okay with what Maxine Waters said. And I think a big part of that is that.
And by the way, I'm not. I mean, you don't call it, you don't ratchet up confrontation. You don't make it more violent. And you pick your language much more carefully. Do I think she meant go set fire to cop cars? Of course not. Do I think Trump actually meant storm the Capitol? Kind of do, actually. Considering how he was when he watched it.
They just know how to stick together, don't they?
They know how to stick together, but...
Yeah, that's the problem. Democrats really can stick together. That's the thing about, communist revolutionaries. Everyone's a comrade, am I right? But, the Republicans are just...
They also have no morals and no ethics.
No morals and no ethics. So wanting Derek Chauvin, wanting Derek Chauvin convicted on all 3 counts is an immoral choice because he did nothing wrong. All right, I see. I guess that's where they...
The rules do not apply.
The rules do not apply? Well, then why are they voting on stuff? Why don't they just sign stuff into law and just throw it on the desk and give it to Biden? And why?
You see, the Democrats operate by a different playbook.
Oh, good. All right. Well, it's a platform, really, but.
And their playbook is do anything they want to do and anything possible to achieve their agenda.
All right. Wow. I had no idea we had so much free reign. Do anything. I don't even know why. Then if that argument is true, then why did Maxine Waters even bother to use, the word, confrontational? Why would she even bother to pussy? Why don't you just go burn cop cars, set fire to Target, and if you don't do what we want, we're gonna burn every Walmart to the ground. Every cowboy boot store from here to New Mexico is gonna burn to the ground if you don't give us, I guess what, Medicare for all? What are you talking about?
And I think we as Republicans in Congress...
I need a Horse Winnie soundtrack to play every time she appears. Easy.
We have to stand up and we have to work harder. We have to get...
Just for the Frau Bruche part of it?
Tough. And then we have to make sure that we're able to hold them accountable. Otherwise, what we're seeing in this nation is BLM may in fact be the most powerful domestic terrorist organization in this country.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like it's like saying you're the world's tallest short guy.
Because as we've seen today, and as we've seen the past year, there's...
I'm not entirely sure this isn't just a live music video shoot. Look at this bonfire. They're burning I don't know, is that a coals?
Certainly able to achieve their goals, and they aren't just people in the streets. It goes all the way.
Oh, they're burning the Minneapolis Police Department. Oh, I see. After Chauvin knelt on a guy's neck for 9 minutes, and then before he was charged. So they were forced into doing it. I mean, they didn't want to.
Up into our government, like Maxine Waters, a United States Congresswoman, Nancy Pelosi, who rubber stamped everything Maxine Waters says, and perhaps to the White House with.
She rubber stamps everything Maxine Waters says. She must be exhausted.
President Joe Biden himself.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I can't find a single thing wrong in anything that you said, and that's why we had you on.
BLM is a political organization, and they do not care about black lives. I think we all can agree on that.
Oh, can we? Who's we all? Oh, I mean, we all. He means her and the people who work at Newsmax. I thought he meant we all, like actual humans.
They're a political organization, and they're wielding quite a bit of power right now, and they've got Democrats wrapped around their finger. That is the truth. Congresswoman.
Which finger? I just need to know.
Marjorie Taylor Greene of the state of Georgia, thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome. The world is burning, and black people are going to destroy everything that we have fought so Anglo-Saxonly for. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
You just watched Newsmax.
Yeah, I know, and we're all worse for it. Thanks for sharing, and all right, I'm not saying what I was thinking. Okay, Kamala Harris Dems have exploited this case, says Lauren Boebert. Oh, the other most criticized member of Congress she's got to say something. This is terrible. They've caused this. Chauvin should have been set free.
Frankly, with this verdict. Let's say there is a guilty verdict on the highest charge. It will not take away the pain of the Floyd family.
Right.
It will not take away the pain of the communities.
Yeah. So far, she probably says something way more incendiary. You know what I mean?
All communities, regardless of their color or geographic location, that felt sadness and anger in what they witnessed in that video.
Right. Okay. So this is Greg Kelly, folks. This is Newsmax. I think he's going to take that as offensive because, and they are very touchy. The folks over at Newsmax they're delicate flowers. And they did not watch that video. The assertion that Kamala Harris, I beg your pardon. Wait a second. Give me 1 second, folks, if I may. Because, Rachel, which video are you referring to? Because if, you might have to go. If I might have caught. The chat goes by very fastly, but very fastly. Listen to me.
This verdict is but a piece of it.
Right? Yeah. You can't solve, racism in police departments and justice disparities with one conviction. Seems reasonable. Seems like a common sense thing to say.
And it will not heal the pain that existed for generations, that has existed for generations.
Oh, boy. Oh, Greg Kelly's very upset. What pain? What generations? What are you talking about? I don't understand it. All right, fine. I guess. All right. Well, I guess we just set fire to the whole country and start over. I see. Why don't we just give it back to the engines and race back to... I don't know what to do. Tell him, Greg. He's so upset.
All right. So much for that.
Who the fuck reacts to someone talking about like generational racial issues and the fact that one case will not solve that? Oh God. I mean, what? Look at this infantile response.
The pain that existed for
She's saying something like, with all seriousness, she's saying something like, this is pain that has been around and people are dealing with this, and there's still people alive who experienced lynchings and that kind of stuff, and this one thing is a move in the right direction, but it's not going to solve all these issues, but it's a good example. And I mean, this was a balanced conversation about the reality that we live in racially in this country, and watch his reaction. Holy hell.
for generations, that has existed for generations.
All right. So much for that.
I'm surprised he doesn't just take his tie off and throw it on the ground and go, I'm out. Greg Kelly out.
I heard about closure.
More snowflake language.
Didn't you? And nope. She's just ripping off the Band-Aid. Anyway, let's
I'm sorry. Did you nick yourself?
see here. We are live. This is can't really tell. That's still New York. It's right across the street from a bowling. They're right going by a bowling alley that I used to go to.
Yeah, I don't go there anymore. It's been taken over by BLM. It's now Bowling Lives Matter. I can't believe they named it that. It's terrible. I can't even walk on any street with yellow paint on it anymore. It's upsetting.
Yeah, this is just not great. I know some people will see this and say, oh, wow, a beautiful, peaceful protest. But they're taking over a whole street.
They're taking over. Yeah. You know what? Who speaks for the traffic? Seriously, dude. You want, he's upset. I swear to God. He's actually upset that they're not setting shit on fire. I mean, this is, oh my God. Yeah, the poor street, They're probably going to paint big yellow letters on it. Oh, God.
And
white people are so easily frightened. No, I'm not. Don't use my race to lump me in with this dickhead, Jess. That's not fair.
Doing whatever the heck they want to do. And I don't know. I'm not good with that.
Okay, reason enough to be happy. He's not good with I'm not sure. I missed part of the
protest, but they're taking over a whole street and doing whatever the heck they want to do. And I don't know. I'm not good with that.
It's just, look how upset this asshole is. I'm not fine with that. They are doing people in America doing whatever they want. I mean, who will fight for freedom? Can I remind you? These are the assholes who use freedom TM on everything they do. The Constitution. Okay, peaceful protest being a part of that. But they're slowing down the taxis. And I used to go to that bowling alley. Fuck this! Look at how livid he is. Look at his eyes. Ooh. Oh, if I had laser beams. Oh, God. He's just, won't they burn something so I at least have some footage to use? These days I kind of live to see Greg Kelly miserable. I mean, literally, he's about to storm out of this restaurant without paying. I would like to speak with your manager of this street.
I'm not. It's illegal. It should be.
It's illegal. Someone's yelling Black Lives Matter, and he's like, ah! Look how mad he is. For fuck's sake, look how angry. Can you imagine being that, even he's as mad. Again, remember what I said about the other Rob Schmidt and Marjorie Taylor Greene and how they look at the world? You have to understand right now, Greg Kelly is as livid at these peaceful protesters saying Black Lives Matter and walking down the street while, I guess, holding signs and being on their phones and tweeting that, like, I was at a BLM rally after the Chauvin thing, you know, hashtag I'm awesome, whatever, all these people. He's as mad about that as you and I were watching people, like, crush a cop in a doorway attacking on January 6th. Seriously. Like, when we, like, look at that face. That's the face when we're like, wait, they smeared shit on the walls in the Capitol? That's why we reacted to the 6th? He's reacting to these people. Black Lives Matter. Whoo!
Be illegal. Where are the cops, by the way?
Why can't they come in here and bust some heads? All the good ones get locked up like Chauvin.
Logan Raddick noted.
Where are the cops, by the way? Oh, man.
That there were no police outside, not too far from the courthouse, the protest that he was covering. I'm joined now.
There weren't. There were no police outside the Capitol because those police know how that Mohammed Noon went to jail last year or the year before last, I guess technically now, for what was it, second-degree manslaughter? So they pretty much knew. You spit coffee all over your shirt. I mean, for fuck's sake, look how mad this guy is. I think it's, look at this. What is it? Police brutality and murder must stop. I think that's inarguable, right? Doesn't mean policing should stop, but that's a pretty clear sign. We need revolution. I don't know what, I don't know how you fix that with revolution. But okay. But, I mean, they're holding up their activists. They're holding up their signs or whatever. Somebody's got Black Lives Matter written on yellow carpet, which I think in and of itself is offensive.
By Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
Oh, good. Please tell us about freedom.
Republican of
from Riffle, Colorado, for those of you who don't know.
Colorado. Welcome back, Congresswoman. How are you?
I swear to God, she looks like a Snapchat filter right now. I don't know.
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you?
Terrific.
He's not doing well, Lauren. He's not. Sorry, Congressman Boebert. He's not doing very well. Look at him. He's angry. He's day drunk. He just had to hear the words Black Lives Matter in his earpiece. It's horrible. This is, we are watching a man's soul die. The Sarah Palin filter. That's exactly what it is.
Terrific. Your thoughts on the verdict, please.
Please be as mad about this as I am.
Well, today's decision is certainly emotionally charged for many people, but Judge...
It's emotionally charged for many people. I mean, certainly for Greg. God damn it.
Peter Cahill asked elected leaders to respect the constitutional separation of powers and stay out of the judicial system. I would...
Sorry, did they insist on a verdict, or did they just comment it as representative members of their constituency?
Wish hearing from Vice President Harris that there would have been a call to calm, but she seems to be following more the...
Yeah, keep talking. This is good. This is good stuff. I feel a lot better.
Road of Maxine Waters, who just wants to continue.
Stop the war on Black America. Oh, God. You're just trying to hurt Greg Kelly, right? You're just playing clips. Someone in the newsroom at Newsmax is just trying to push all of his buttons.
To stir up unrest instead of using that.
Look at that. Is that, wait a minute. Hold on. Is that Jim Acosta? I'm just kidding.
Position of influence.
It's can you imagine Greg Kelly's bigger nightmare, like Jim Acosta in his free time between his new show and being like Trump's, least favorite reporter can walk along and go, hey.
To actually calm people. We have riots all.
People look pretty calm. I mean, they're definitely protesting and making sure that, there's other issues
throughout the country that need to stop. I mean, we're seeing right now, you're showing these protests. These are peaceful right now. I hope that they stay peaceful.
Probably won't, though. Probably not. I mean, that bowling alley now is toast. Now that they know Greg Kelly used to go there.
but people need to get places too. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing about protest is that it's a violation of traffic laws.
Interesting that we don't have these social distancing laws that are being enforced and everything.
They're outside. They're wearing masks. They're outside. They're wearing masks. They seem to be walking with groups that have been together, and they're still wearing masks, and they're outside.
When these folks decide to take over our...
They're not all white. There's a mix, Sharon. There's a mix of people. Look, I'm sorry. I mean, this is a large group of New Yorkers, so there's a mix. Am I going to have to apologize for some of the Greg Kellys in the chat room that there's too many Jews present in a racial justice protest in New York?
Streets, but the rioting absolutely needs to end, and our...
Well, sure. I mean, look at this terrible riot that's happening. This flower riot at the site where George Floyd lost his life. This is hideous. Look at that. Look at this is a vigil and a memorial for where he passed away. And look at Greg Kelly. He's gonna fucking burst. Yay, Amy, that's great.
To the conviction should be based in love, not hate.
Looks like people are expressing love. There's flowers and candles and a vigil, and they're holding hands and they're praying and commie stuff.
And in the words of scripture, hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses.
It covers all offenses? Oh, that's why you love Trump, because you're trying to cover for his offenses. I see. You're hoping that love will cure his 27 valid sexual assault claims that he has against him. See, you learn something every day. I didn't say it was new because the Bible's old. Thank you, Diana. Looks like a rejected Barbie doll. Is there Bullet Barbie?
Wow. Yes.
Wow. Yes. Scripture. Sorry, I was so mad I couldn't focus. You said something Bible related, and I.
It does. And I couldn't help but notice that Kamala Harris wasn't feeling the love or wasn't showing much.
She wasn't showing the love. She wasn't. She was addressing.
It was all about the anger, and this is not going to really change anything. The pain that goes back generations. This is with us to stay, and I think the exploitation of matters like this.
Yeah, it's when a black woman exploits the pain that Greg Kelly is feeling. By the way, I think the most angry person on this broadcast so far is Greg Kelly by far.
Are with us to stay.
Yes, I think angry Greg Kelly. I'm gonna say it lasts at least through the Biden years.
Exploited this.
I mean, obviously he's gotten more angry since he had that spike that put him up in Fox territory, and then the bottom fell out when he was wrong about Trump's, return to power.
To the hilt over the past year and a half.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, he's totally right. And I'm not just saying that because that's required for a visit on Newsmax.
And, who's to say what these jurors were actually going through?
Yeah, they're probably afraid of, fires and stuff like that. They didn't really think Chauvin was guilty. I mean, how could you watch 9 minutes of that and think it was anything but a slip, an accident?
And what kind of communications were coming to them?
Oh, okay. So sorry, they've been slipped notes. By the way, the vice president says convict. Just saying. Just put that under your pillow.
I've heard it be said that their personal information has been leaked and even their addresses. So we don't.
So they got doxxed.
I don't know the threats that were even coming their way.
Yeah, my question is why would you have to be threatened to come to that verdict? That would be even weirder.
But that is the judicial branch, and we...
Oh, my God. There's a gay man holding up a George Floyd drawing that perhaps he did himself. He's flicking a rainbow fan. He's very possibly of Asian descent, and I really think they're just trolling Greg now.
we saw that branch fulfill this, and he was convicted of murder. But, it's interesting that the vice president of the United States cannot take time to address what's going on at our southern border, where we have hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens crossing.
I'm sorry. Please cut to footage of people coming across the border with BLM signs. This is actually, I can't wait for Greg Kelly to go, this is actually footage from the southern border, whatever. These buildings are in El Paso.
Our border without a negative COVID test, and even
without a negative COVID test. Yes, these 8-year-olds are crossing the border, and none of them have gotten a nasal swab in Juarez. I mean, honestly, if the cartels can do anything, they can obviously do COVID tests.
Being put on planes from Central American countries without ID and without a negative COVID test and flown into our country, and taxpayers are paying for it.
They're being flown in. Where's the evidence for this? That they're being put on a plane in Guatemala without a COVID test and being flown in without identification into the United States? You know what happens when you try to go through customs and you don't have identification? You sleep on a bench and they put you on the next flight back to where you came from. What kind of bullshit is this?
She can't go down and address
Chauvin hasn't been sentenced yet. They set a date for that.
But she can address a court hearing, and she can go and buy yarn. I think she needs to take that yarn that she went and bought in San Francisco and
gay yarn, clearly.
Start crocheting these kids some blankets.
Why don't you get them some caramel cake? By the way, I ordered salted caramels from the Brown Sugar Bakery where Kamala Harris went. They sell stuff online. I saw these assholes. We didn't do a clip on it because I forget why, but I mean it just got eaten up by other things. But there was this whole freak out that she went to this bakery and it was really contrived. Remember that? And I went online and let me see. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find. I'm operating on my computers. Let's see. Brown Sugar Bakery, Chicago. Here it is. So, yeah. Oh, they're just trolling everybody. Hold on. There it is. This is Chuck and Pearl's Brown Sugar Swirls. During Vice President Kamala Harris's visit to Chicago, she stopped. She stopped. Oh, 2 P's and stopped. It's okay. By our bakery for a bite of our delicious award-winning cake. It is delicious. We got a caramel cake. You can only order to have it mailed to you if you like. You can order and pick up, obviously, but they do nationwide shipping. Limited on the nationwide shipping. Oh, it's gotten more. The German chocolate cake's back in stock. This is what she stopped for. This is the, they only had the caramel cake. So I ordered the caramel cake and I ordered, where are they? The sea salt caramels. I ordered those for summer and stuff. She and Ethan I had 1 slice. I had 2 slices. I had 2 slices of the caramel. I did. And I didn't get to have one of these yet. But Summer and her son are eating most of these. But, this is the Brown Sugar Bakery. I'm just showing you this because I know it would anger Greg Kelly. Today's show is brought to you by, through no financial means whatsoever, just the niceness of my feeling towards these lovely people, the Brown Sugar Bakery. Please check out at cupidcandies.com. You can order their stuff /cakes. The Brown Sugar Bakery. Their website is cupidcandies.com. There you go. Yeah, so they're lovely people. They're very nice, and I love caramel apples. I'm like the big kind of like crazy ones, but a classic peanut caramel apple. I mean, you can't go wrong. Obviously, it's sliced because that's a monstrosity. You'll be flossing for a year if you eat it on the on the actual stick. But I'm sure they'll pre-slice. That kind of, I'm just saying. They're only available August to November, so I'm going to have to go to Chicago at some time between then and then and go down there and get some. Just saying. Yeah. They only do local delivery. It's very sad. Anyway, so, all right. So, Brown Sugar Bakery. If you want to make Greg Kelly upset, look up Brown Sugar Bakery in Chicago and order it today. All right, there you go.
It is wild, though. The border is still a huge mess.
I mean, look at all these people, grown people. Many of them, like, look how well dressed they are, and I'm supposed to believe these are asylum seekers.
Crisis, and again, part of their exploitation phase that we're wrapped up in this case, and that
their exploitation phase were wrapped up in this case.
Continues, and also kids are not back in school. A lot of them.
Like almost 60% of kids are back in school.
And you mentioned this protest. You're right. They're not rioting, but at the same time, it's a coercive protest.
It's a coercive protest. What the fuck is protest for if it's not meant to coerce someone? or at least convince them, I suppose. Coercive protest. Listen to this dickhead. These are the same assholes who defended the January 6th thing. How dare they not riot?
They have taken over the streets, and that is against
a street.
The law.
They're these scofflaws, hooligans, ruffians walking around with their flyers and phones and signs celebrating the Chauvin thing when we know that the only reason that they convicted was not because they watched multiple angles of the horrible killing of an innocent man by an asshole kneeling on his neck. And by the way, if you think they're this upset about Chauvin, wait till they see the trial for the other officers coming this August. Oh boy, the sequel is going to be a prequel.
And I know some of these people.
Some of my best friends are coercive protesters.
And I think they're quite frankly ridiculous. But
what does that even mean? What?
And I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous.
How does he know any of these people? What is he talking about? That's Gary from the fucking bowling alley. This is bullshit.
But we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, please. No, talk about it now. Who do you know in that line of people who are marching in Brooklyn or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Just screw it. Do I really have any friends anymore?
Well, we gotta go, Congress.
I know some of these people. I gotta get out of here. This is holy hell. People, I mean. Listen to this asshole.
And I know some of these people, and I think they're quite frankly ridiculous. But we'll talk about that some other time. Oh, I don't know. Well, we gotta go, Congresswoman. Your turn.
This is so fucking dumb. This may be one of the most beautifully awful videos we've done since Trump gave a speech. Oh, God. Greg Kelly, the gift that keeps on giving. Here's a good idea, Lauren Boebert. Why don't Kamala Harris take some of that yarn she got in San Francisco and knit Greg Kelly a whoopee so he can rub his face and suck his thumb? Holy hell.
Terrific. Thanks so much. Hey.
You're great. Thanks for quoting scripture. And can you text it to me so I know later on what I actually thought was good?
Real quick. Maxine Waters, of course, made some horrific comments.
Yeah, horrific. Yeah, that one where she was like, an AK in every oven or some shit, where she was like, I don't know, maybe crack is good. You know, those horrific statements.
Very prejudicial.
Very prejudicial.
Asking people to confront others, basically calling for riots.
Basically calling for riots, asking people to confront others. Don't confront them.
What's happening?
What is happening here? I heard your friend MTG
Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about, trying to.
Yeah, some bullshit. I don't know. I feel like I should just throw my paper in the air.
get a censure resolution?
No, she was going to expel her. The censure resolution is from the the House Minority Leader. Why do I know this shit and you don't, Greg Kelly? This is your raison d'etre.
Where does that stand?
In a puddle of shit. Just poop water. Just it stands in a drainage ditch outside of the Shawshank prison.
Well, if it was up to me, Representative Max.
If it was up to me. Please tell me. Please tell me. She goes, if it was up to me, she wouldn't be a congresswoman.
Maxine Waters would be expelled from Congress. This is.
Who else does that apply to? And what shade are they?
Not the first time that she has incited violence. She left her district, she left her state, and
how dare she? Yeah, good. I mean, thanks for bringing that up, Lauren Boebert. You should only talk about or talk to or visit your own district. And if it's not your district, how dare you show up there like, I don't know, who is it that went to Wyoming to Liz Cheney's district, Matt Gaetz, and you were celebrating.
And used her position of influence to not calm situations, but to stir them up and get.
You gave tours of the Capitol to January 6th insurrectionists. Prove me wrong.
People agitated and really stir.
Agitated.
Hate and incite violence. And we have seen people rioting and breaking the laws because of her rhetoric.
Oh, I see. That's why. Okay. Are we seeing people walking in New York because they saw her and they took confrontational to mean, marching in the streets and being loud?
I introduced a formal ethics complaint today. I filed that against Maxine Waters. So she has to.
Yeah, it can't actually go forward because that's not an ethics issue, because she said get more confrontational. There's nothing wrong with actually saying that. She didn't actually call for violence. And if you do want to say that, then you and Marjorie Taylor Greene, if that's the standard, then you both would be expelled as well. I'm very hopeful, and I hope we are going to get a verdict that says guilty, guilty, guilty. That sounds awful. What a terrible woman.
To be held.
Clearly she is at the foot of our Lord Jesus Christ, saying to Pontius Pilate, guilty, guilty, guilty. I mean, obviously, there was only one charge of being a phony Messiah against Jesus. So guilty for the two thieves on either side of him then, I guess.
Held accountable for her words. And she has to go before the ethics committee and give an account for what she said.
Yeah, she's not going to have to do that.
I'm tired of Democrats getting a free pass. We voted today to censure her, and it was right down party lines. And unfortunately, we didn't have the numbers to see that happen. But
yeah, it's weird. It's almost like elections have consequences.
You have the Speaker of the House of the United States Representatives endorsing this behavior from Maxine Waters. And
by not voting to have her censured.
Greg, Maxine Waters is not a fringe member of the squad. She is the chair.
No, not by any stretch.
Chairman of the Finance Committee. She is supposed to be a notable and respectable Democrat. She is not fringe, but unfortunately, this is exactly where the Democrat Party has gone. And
says, I'm sorry, a fringe congressperson says what?
They are all being drugged down this progressive narrative. This is the norm.
He's writing this down, drugs. He just wrote drugs on his paper.
Norm for the Democrats now.
Yeah, no, she's crazy. She.
We're just not getting. I mean, Kelly is not bringing his A game today. He's crazy. I'm sorry. He what? Listen to this
narrative. This is the norm for the Democrats now.
Yeah, no, she's crazy. She is totally nuts.
She's crazy. She's totally nuts. Listen to that. Oh, sorry. I interrupted that one.
The norm for the Democrats now.
Yeah, no, she's crazy. She is totally nuts. Well, Congressman
even she laughed at him. He wasn't being funny. That was an exasperated phrase from him. That was not like, oh man, huh? That was not, she's laughing at it like he's sharing something. He's not.
Boebert, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. To be continued, okay?
Thanks so much.
Well, obviously not to be continued. Our country is over. Did you not watch Glenn Beck? I mean, for God's sake, people. If we don't stop using these words that the Federalist Society tells we have to use, I have to say, and I got to get out of here. I've only got a few minutes left, and I appreciate you guys understanding while I'm going to be on early this week. It's a little different than normal. Let's see. Federalist. Let's see. Politically correct words we should stop using. Something like that. All right. Here we go. 10. Okay, so because he only gave us 3 of them, so we need to know what the other ones were. Okay. And of course, there's a picture of Joe Biden with his fist in the air. I don't know, no word on whether fisting will be one of them. Let's see. Because fists can only be used violently, and it feminizes the culture to use the phrase fisting in a sexual way. I'm sorry. 1, mainstream media, we saw that one. 2, gender, right, we saw that. 3, sex reassignment surgery. 4, democracy when you mean republic. God damn it. Oh, abortion doctors and abortion clinics. What are we supposed to use? Abortion doctors, not to give a woman a border remedy. Doctors are obligated to do no harm. Similarly, the clinics call abortionists. Okay. Receive those. We do not call the room in which a prisoner on death row is executed a clinic. Neither should we use the term to describe places. We call abortionists and abortion facilities what they are. I guess they want you to say murderer, but they don't list it. They don't actually say it. Oh, wow. Hold on. I have to bring this up. Let's see. Can I share this? Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. Where's this? I got to find this article for you real quick. That was in, that's in Safari. So bring this up. See if I can bring it over here. And I got oh, now I have to tell you. Okay, sorry. Federalist. You guys have to see this. Let's see. Politically correct. I have to read it. Words. Something like that. Okay, here we go. So this is the. I almost feel like I owe you an apology for having to look at this shit. But here's the. This is the whole thing from Glenn Beck. CSL. This might end up being a thing we have to edit together. I don't know, in one clip. But so my apologies. The Federalist. 10 politically correct but factually false words and phrases you should stop using immediately, according to Glenn Beck and the Federalist. And one of them, of course, is fisting. And it was written by Elle Reynolds, who's wonderful. And she's got some great ideas for Tupperware. All right. Mainstream media. We saw that one. Gender when you mean sex. Sex reassignment surgery when you mean gender confirmation surgery, I guess. No, that's not what they mean. All right, man. Democracy when you mean republic. Democracy is evil. This is, by the way, this is that quote he was talking about. Democracy, Plato theorized, comes into being when the poor, winning the victory, put to death some of the other party, drive out others, and grant the rest of the citizens an equal share in both citizenship and offices. Well, if they grant the rest, but they put to death some of the other party and drive out then it's not, we'll look at that later. Yeah, abortion doctors and abortion clinics when you mean, murderous, villainous, evilly, peoply bad, something like that. Anti-discrimination, often anti-discrimination policies refer to legal preferences, that's interesting, preferences based on sex, race, society. This is the whole, reverse discrimination, from anti-discrimination laws. Associating based on sex, race, socioeconomic status. Again, the attack of the poor people, or some other category. The Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, for example, released an anti-racist agenda for medicine. Oh, no, God. That would provide, quote, preferential care based on race for Black and Latino patients. Should we go out on a limb and see if that's indeed? Oh no, it's their own article. I see. Let's see. According to an article published in the Boston Review, the Brigham and Women's Hospital will offer preferential care based on race in order to ensure race-explicit interventions. Will it now? and the Boston Review, a political and literary forum. An anti-racist agenda for medicine. Colorblind solutions have failed to achieve racial equity. There's that word again that Biden keeps using and keeps ruining their whole thing that equality is really a mask for, upending the world. We need both federal reparations and real institutional accountability. We are experienced physicians, but in the early days of the pandemic, we felt like fresh interns nervously awaiting flooded disease presentations. Deja vu. It seemed disproportionate number of COVID people of color. We asked around. Our colleagues corroborated. The trend was confirmed by data. The experience was doubly jarring, however, because we had a noticeably analogous pattern in hospital admissions 6 years ago. Is when Black and in 2015, some of us wondered why Black and Latino patients with heart failure, our hospital's most common diagnosis, seemingly more likely than white patients to end up on our general medicine service rather than our cardiology service, where patients have better outcomes, along with a more comfortable experience, including private rooms and better amenities. Our effort to, because they pay for it, one would guess. I think it's a matter of, people pay for better rooms at the hospital, or they have more complete insurance, or they add on to their insurance, so they have insurance, which covers the base price, and then they can upgrade, and that's one of the areas. Okay. After analyzing 10 years of hospital data, we concluded that the trend we observed was painfully robust. White patients at Brigham and Women's Hospital, a prominent, predominantly white Harvard teaching hospital, were indeed more likely to be admitted to the cardiology service. We also found that the discrepancy, like many other racial health inequities, wasn't fully accounted for by insurance status, established links to care, or other medical conditions, or an index reflecting the socioeconomic status of the patient's neighborhood. In a follow-up study, we found that the patient's self-advocacy may play a role in these disparities. White patients were perceived to advocate for cardiology admission more often and more intensely, and providers acknowledged such behavior impacted their decision-making. So most people ask for it. It's my heart, I want to go see a cardiologist. They knew to ask for a referral, or they went for it in some ways. Alarmed by these findings, we sought an immediate solution. We began to advocate for change within our institution. Basically, in that situation where we find out that a lot of people who need the cardiology care, the white patients knew to ask for it, the black patients didn't need to ask for it, so the advocacy on the part of the medical professionals was, well, since the white people don't need to be told they can ask for it, or that they even know this is an option, we're going to proactively tell people, kind of like people who don't know their rights when they're being pulled over versus people who do. We're going to inform them of their rights. And by the way, we're going to let you know, hey, you have these issues. Maybe you might want to see somebody in our car instead of waiting for them to do it, since it didn't seem to be based on insurance or socioeconomic status. It was a matter of perhaps knowing whether or not to ask for it or not, or what status they were in or stage they were in when they came into the hospital. So we're going to help them out. Terrible. I can understand why this horrifying discrimination nonsense started. In another example of discrimination under the name of its opposite, Yale University, listen to me. Yale University unlawfully discriminated against white and Asian students, according to a 2-year Department of Justice investigation. Instead of using the leftist buzzword anti-discrimination to describe these policies, call them legalized preferences, or simply the discrimination that they are. So Yale University tried to admit more black people because they didn't have any in their roles, and there were lawsuits filed by Asian students who felt like they were being, and they lost out to somebody like that. This is and this is just another form of just legalized preference, right? Undocumented immigrant. You're right. I prefer undocumented American when it comes to DACA people, but that's just me. Yeah, see? Undocumented is a term people use to call breaking immigration laws as illegal. However, most illegal. Okay, we know that. Equity or equality when you mean the other. This is the one they're mad about. They're bearing the lead here a little bit. Equity and equality sound similar, but have widely different implications today. Noah's Webster, okay, then we're going into the Webster definition. Equality is the same degree of dignity or claims as the equality of men in the scale of being and equality of rights. The Declaration of Independence assertion that all men are created equal recognizes this equal value. Equity has traditionally been a common legal term referring to civil remedies. It can also mean the impartial distribution of justice. God forbid. But in the jargon of identity politics, now they're telling us what we mean by it. Equity describes a policy that, quote, recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. See, recognize that each person has different circumstances. Circumstances? What do you mean circumstances? If you come from a neighborhood that's poor, you shouldn't have a poor school. It's not a kid's fault where they were born as an American. That would be the circumstance. Look, if your parents are assholes or if you were born to poor people, you stay poor. Allocates the exact resources and opportunities. Opportunities doesn't solve it for you. Just because you have an opportunity doesn't mean you're going to win. That would be equality, right? Needed to reach an equal outcome. Needed. The opportunities you need to reach an outcome. There's no guarantee you're going to reach an equal outcome. That's what they want you to believe. See the above entry for anti-discrimination. Look at black people before. Cisgender, right, is an unnecessary word that assumes that sex is a result of a human choice. Cisgender man is man, a cisgender woman is woman. Only added there. So it invented the opposite. In the cisgender was invented to represent the opposite of transgender in the 1990s. I think it's a garbage word, but who cares? Pro-choice. You think a lot of people who read the Federalist use the phrase pro-choice? Is a euphemism to get around having to call yourself pro-abortion. Well, if you're pro-abortion, you would advocate for everyone to be having abortions or more abortions instead of the option to have an abortion. But I mean, I may be misreading freedom for these folks, so it's a little hard to say. It's a little one must have a very difficult time with this, as you know. And 1 second, and we'll open up. Why not? My chat went away. There it is. I'll bring it back up. Don't let corporate media, which goes back to the top, and politicians. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't come up with another word for politicians. Yeah. So, pro-forced, they're pro-forced pregnancy, I would argue. Yes. Thank you for the 6 p.m. alarm. Thank you guys so much. I got to go. You're very right, and I appreciate you guys keeping me honest, and I was glad I opened my chat again for you remind me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys joining me today. Each day I'm going to try and make the show a little bit better, as I always do, but also while I'm here and clean up the room a little bit for you so it's not as ratty. I don't want to do my own version of Glenn Beck's nonsense while I'm here. That would just be rude. But piece by piece, I'm getting it together. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be on earlier than usual tomorrow. So that I have time for my own family FaceTime before I go to rehearsals. And I have rehearsals before this. These are long days. So if I'm a little bagged out, you'll know why. But, there are none so troublesome as there are no fools so troublesome as have some wit about them. That's not the play I'm doing, so my brain is rejecting all Shakespeare that isn't part of the play I'm doing. So take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. You guys are awesome. Thanks. All right, I'm now play music too. Why not? Yay. Thank you guys for the super chats and for the support today, and thanks for the Venmo and all that kind of stuff. You guys are great. As I'm getting my windows together where I can see everything, I don't get to see it till the end. So thanks to everybody, and thanks to our new patrons, and thanks to our enduring patrons. Thank you guys so much.
I love lamb.
Somebody like that can write good.
Voila. Voila.
Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Michigan gave us Motang. Michigan gave us Motang.